Hey everybody, it is Jarrod Davis. So I just wanted to jump on here and share with you a little bit about why I made the decision to switch over to EXP, the research I did, kind of, talk a little bit about my mindset at the time, and just listen, end of the day, I think we all owe it to ourselves to kind of really take a look at something in depth. And that is what I did as I made a transition here at the end of 2019 going into 2020. So I just wanted to share it with you guys, show you a little bit about what I was thinking, show you a little bit about the highlights of, where I see the benefits and what I see the value, in any company, and when I looked at EXP, kind of where I saw the opportunity for agents, for teams, in this model, right? So as a lot of you, know, EXP preaches themselves as being a virtual model. I just want to be super clear. Listen, most of you know me and know that I highly believe in brokerages, in office space and working together, being collaborative. I'm a big believer in culture. So, I just wanted to, make sure that you understand that just because I decided with EXP doesn't mean I still don't believe in all those things. And I just want to be super clear that I'm a big believer in working together and being collaborative. But there's so many other benefits in EXP that I saw as a value to agents. I saw as an opportunity for all of you, as well as me, from a growth perspective, from where kind of our business is going, in the next 3 to 5 years. When we look at the opportunities with teams in EXP, and I'm just going to really clearly kind of go through those with you so you guys get an understanding. So here, I'm going to kind of jump in here and share my screen with you guys, and let's see where that is. Here we go. All right, so let's go ahead and share that. So what I want to cover today is, who is EXP? What does their business model look like? Give you some sort of understanding of what the EXP world is, because there was a lot of, for me, this was a big one, as in I didn't really understand it. Now I do, now I get it. How EXP has created so many solutions for you as an agent, so many solutions for you, and solve so many concerns and issues for you, so that the money that you pay to a brokerage is incredibly important. And then a little bit about kind of joining EXP. What I want you to keep in mind is I wrote three things down here that I think you should really always keep in mind when you're looking at your business is, how much do you pay? Ultimately, how much are you paying to be in business? Where you are, with your current business model, and then what are you getting for that? Ultimately, like, what are you actually getting for that? How much because a lot of them go, oh, I don't pay much to my brokerage, but then spend so much money outside of for tools and systems that ultimately that you could be getting within your brokerage. So, and then the third thing is, what's your exit strategy, right? So when we look at either taking a break and or retiring, real estate has been one of those businesses that, you work into until you die because there's no kind of exit strategy. I was on a podcast this week with a top agent in EXP with a team. And, he said the reason he wanted to grow his team wasn't so much that he had an exit strategy, was so that he could take more time to be with his family. And, real estate agents, we work 24/7, 7 days a week, and he wanted to spend more time with his family. So, he wanted an opportunity to build a business that gave him more time, not necessarily more money, but listen, more money is good too. All right, so let's kind of jump into this. So, who are they? Who are they, and kind of what happened to kind of get my attention? Obviously, EXP have been around since 2014. Again, started by Glenn Sanford. Glenn Sanford, he's very much from the tech world, but he saw an opportunity here, and he kind of said that agents and brokers kind of do the heavy lifting in our business, and there has to be a better way. So if they're doing the heavy lifting, there has to be a better way. And so he created EXP back in those times, really to support and help agents' growth, right? So again, it was going and moving, and I'm going to tell you when I kind of started to take note. If we look between up until 2017, there was incredibly, I don't want to say slow growth, but it was slower growth. And a lot of the agents at that point were kind of joining to benefit from the rev share and the recruiting, and that's what they were preaching. And while those are amazing opportunities that you have within EXP, I think there's so much beyond those things that benefit you as an agent. And those are just the perks or the benefits. And I'm going to, again, I'll share a little bit about what that looks like going throughout here. I really started to take note of EXP kind of the end of 2018. And I looked at 2018 and 2019, and again, these are the US numbers. Agent count now, I think, is closer or above 30,000 agents, they're in 50 states. And I think they're almost in all of the provinces now in Canada. We've had extreme growth over the last 12 months in Canada. Another reason why I kind of took a look at this, right? So between 2018 and 2019 in the States, they saw incredible growth. Now, this is what made me take note. Is it wasn't just incredible growth. It was incredible growth with substantial agents, with teams, with, even some brokerages. And, and again, when I looked at that, I'm like, wow, some of these really big teams, what are they seeing that I'm missing? What are they looking at that I'm not seeing, right? So what is the story that they see in EXP that I've been telling myself, and it's kind of a BS story, or wasn't necessarily a story that kind of served me well, and it was kind of the story that I wanted to create about EXP because they were a competitor, right? So, and then again, 2019 to 2020, I obviously coach a lot in the US, so I was keeping an eye on that, right? And then we look at 2019, 20, and their growth continued to kind of rocket with the right agents, with teams, with substantial players, with people in production, and and I'm at that point I'm going, okay, what's going on here, right? Like, what do we need to look at? So when things started changing for me, kind of around the middle of 2019 going into 2020, I started looking around at what the opportunity is, right? So the opportunity was, getting involved with another franchise, which, I have had a few bad experiences in franchise, especially with this last one. And I wasn't interested in going in that direction. The option was being an independent. And then we look at, from an independent office perspective, you look at that the profit margins in running a brokerage are so small now. Why? Because every agent wants, as much commission as they can get. And then as an independent, you'd have to go out and spend money to buy all the tools and buy all the systems. And because agents also want and need that. And I'm a huge believer in that. And then there was this EXP, this company EXP that was kind of somewhere in the middle, right? So I said, well, I'm going to take a bigger look at that, especially because the growth at the, in 2019 going into 2020 was so crazy with the right players. And then in Canada, it was the same thing, kind of the end of 2019 into 2020. Growth in Canada started taking off with EXP because before that, again, there wasn't a ton of giant players in that. There were some agents that got into it at the right time, but there wasn't a lot of giant players. And now we're across Canada, we're starting to see these teams, these highly productive agents, even brokerages, full brokerages jumping on board with EXP because they see the opportunity that now I see, right? So most of you kind of know me, and that having the right culture in a company or a right culture in a business is everything to me, because I believe your success is completely built off of the people that you surround yourself with. Your success, and they're either going to lift you up or they're going to bring you down. And in my last company, that's the piece that was missing for me is it wasn't a culture that I aligned with, right? So when I didn't align with the culture, and I'd like to say, listen, I didn't know that until I got into it, and that's a lie. I just didn't take it seriously enough when I got into it. I kind of knew that going into it, and I didn't take it seriously enough. And I'm like, well, maybe it's better than what people say it is. And here's the truth. I learned the hard way, right? And so my lessons I'm hoping to pass on so I can share with you kind of why I decided to kind of make that change and make a different path. Because, the core values of a company are so important to, your growth and your growth opportunity. So, when I looked at kind of the EXP's core values, and I said, okay, it's really important that I'm aligning with that. And I'm going to start here with this, which is community. Right? So it's really important that we have the right community, be a good neighbor, create a sustainable legacy, right? So be a part of something, because most agents, they just want to be a part of something, right? We just want to be a part of something. And as an independent brokerage, we would have to have created that. In a franchise, often they have some of that, good, bad, and different. It's there, right? So last one, it wasn't a great community. EXP, what I've noticed is because that they're a virtual company, right? So because they're everywhere, the community environment, they have created is incredibly powerful to you guys as agents, to myself, because you're not now just depending on people in your single office, or you're creating a culture all around North America, matter of fact, all around the world, right? You're creating this community of people coming together to serve one purpose, right? To build clients for life, and to create an opportunity and learn from each other, right? Because communities are about learning from each other. Communities are about, a culture of, again, of productivity. And so being a part of a community is an incredibly important piece. And EXP is really good at creating that community, right? Matter of fact, they created a whole world around it. And again, the world is a little bit of I don't want to say a misunderstood place, but it's a misunderstood place because as I've become more of a part of it, I've gotten to understand why the world is such an important piece in creating community. And then we go to service, right? So EXP's goal is to make positive change in our company and local community and level up on the service. And ultimately, we recognize that our agents are our customers and we want to bring great service to them. Here's the good part. US has gone through so much since 2014 that they've really kind of written the roadmap for us. So in Canada, as we jump into this, we just follow kind of the roadmap of success with them. So our service in Canada is incredible. And one of the biggest priorities, and I know, Deb, who oversees Canada, one of her biggest things is making sure that we give great service to our agents in Canada, right? So our job from a service perspective is to bring back world-class service to the agents. And here's the part is when you only have one person in your office or one broker owner or whatever to go to, sometimes service is tough, right? Because a lot of agents, when they want it, or when they have a question, they want someone to be there. What I now get with EXP is that service can be world-class because it's not necessarily only one person there to serve you. It's not only one broker there to serve you. It's not only one support staff there to serve you. There's many people there to serve you, so there's always someone around. Again, I go back to the world. It's misunderstood. The world is there so that we can bring world-class service to everybody on there, right? Sustainability. So be good financial steward of the environment, the organization, and our family. So the model was created to not just create a sustainable business model, but to create a sustainable model for you as an agent, right? So ultimately, so that you get something back, that you're not investing all of this time, effort, and money into a business that you have to work 24/7 in order just to get something back, right? It's a sustainable business to help create an opportunity for you outside of just making money through commissions, outside of just having to work 24/7. It's our goal is to create an opportunity for an exit strategy, or create an opportunity to create a business where you work within a group of people to help you leverage, right? So it's a sustainable model, and I think Glenn's goal was to make sure that it can go all across, not just as a company, but as an agent, so that it serves your family and serves the organization at the same time. Collaboration. This one here, collaboration. Like, we're all in the same field. And here's the cool part. Again, I go back to the world, is the collaboration in EXP is so, not just so much easier, but so vast. Like, you can collaborate with people. And I'm going to show you the world here in just a little bit. You can collaborate so well with agents from, all over Ontario, all over Canada, all over North America, frankly, all over the world, in an environment that collaboration is like that, where you can just invite people into a group, right? Masterminds, all of that. I'm happen to be part of, one of the top agent masterminds in EXP, and the collaboration, the information, the opportunity that our group brings is incredible, right? It's incredible. So I think it's the largest group of top producers in EXP. And again, you surround yourself by talent. They surround you with success, right? And so being a part of that group has been just amazing for me. And it's really important that you choose that right group to be involved with, because collaboration is key to your success. Transparency, right? Like, let's be honest. Your broker right now collects money from you. You don't know where that money goes. You don't know if that money is being paid, to where it needs to be paid. At the end of the day, there's very little transparency on, in your company that you work for, right? So in EXP, at the end of the day, we're very transparent, right? Because we want to get things out from behind the curtain, and we're able to do that. So in your, in our back end program, you can see what's going on. It's super important for for us to have, in order to have clear communication, we need to have clear understanding, and we need to have clarity around that through transparency, right? Super important. Integrity. I shouldn't need to explain that. It's doing the right thing, right? So if I have to explain integrity to you, you're probably not a fit for the company. So you get it. Like, our goal is to make sure that we're treating each other fairly, that we're always doing the right thing with our clients. We're always doing the right things with each other. So innovation. The best way to predict the future is to create it or to invent it, right? So when Glenn did this, created EXP, it was about creating the future, right? It was about, well, where's real estate going? Right? Like, so many brokerages and so many franchises are so behind the 8 ball in this, right? They look at technology as your CRM, or they look at whatever. That's not the true opportunity that you have as an agent. In EXP, we have created what the future of real estate looks like. We've created how to, again, I go back to collaboration. We've had to collaborate a company with our business and bring the agent and the company together, so they're both working together, right, to better serve the company and the agent. Right. And that's what it's all about. So, especially, and we got a, what's going on right now in 2020, which is the COVID. And right. So we got COVID going on right now. And so many companies started down here, right, with this. And they went, oh my gosh, we have our office, we have, everything is done in person. What do we do? Right. So EXP started up here, and they went, listen, we've got this COVID, but like, we do everything virtual now. All our training is virtual now. All of our staff is virtual. Everything is virtual. So we're ahead of the game in this world. So like, this COVID, all this has done for us is raise the bar for us. Now this is how we serve clients, and this is what we do here versus other companies that are still struggling to get to here. How do we do our office meetings via Zoom? How do we, have our paperwork done via, electronically or whatever, right? So they're going from here to here, and we're going from here to here. Like, we're raising the bar to the highest point that any other company did. And why? Because we're agile. Right? Like, we force kind of chaos and change so that we survive and grow. That's the goal. It's because we're an agile company. We can move quickly because everything is in one place. When we put things out there, everything is in one place. In any sort of franchise that they might have 900 broker owners or franchise that they have to get things out, we're agile. We can move quick. We can change things. We can add things, right? Super important. And here's the last one. And for those of you that know me, know that fun is so important. Don't take yourself too seriously, right? It's like fun. And again, I always say, if you don't enjoy doing what you're doing, then at some point you're going to hate doing what you're doing, right? If you could find fun and excitement around it, then you'll never work a day in your life. So for me, fun is super important, right? And to make sure that you enjoy what you're doing, you're having fun, and you're around people that have fun. I couldn't express more how these core values played such an important role. And now I understand how these core values were written within EXP. And culture is what drives your business, right? Being around a group of people like that, it drives your business, right? So be super clear that this plays an important role. Let me jump into this. The business model. So what does the business model look like? Like, why would I go, oh my gosh, I'm going to leave a brokerage or not have a brokerage and switch to a completely different business model? So I'm going to jump and explain this a little bit, just so that you have kind of an understanding of where they came from and kind of what it's about, right? So innovation is always happening no matter where we are. And we look at like, I'm a big brick and mortar location place. I get it. And EXP is all about being virtual. Here's the deal. What I know also to be true is, because we had an office of 135 agents, there's only some of them that came in, right? But let's be clear, all of them helped us pay for the brick and mortar locations. So what EXP is saying isn't that, oh my gosh, don't ever have an office again. What they're saying is, like, if you use an office, great, you can go pay for an office. Matter of fact, EXP gives us discounts at certain places for an agent to have an office if they so choose to want to, or to have access to boardrooms and have access to that. But we also know that a lot of agents don't use that. Matter of fact, in our company, we probably had 70 to 80% that very rarely used our brick and mortar location, right? So I'm big on it, but everybody necessarily isn't. But here's the difference. Look at Blockbuster. Blockbuster rented DVDs, sold DVDs, VHS, beta in their time, right? And so they had a brick and mortar location. As a matter of fact, I think Netflix offered Blockbuster to buy them for like something like $2 million, and Blockbuster refused, right? And here's the thing, how many of you use DVDs now, right? So as Netflix grew, Blockbuster started to fail. Why? Because Blockbuster didn't bring to the market in time what Netflix took to grow, right? So Netflix, grew over time, and now is worth billions, and Blockbuster went bankrupt. Not because Blockbuster, was an unsuccessful company in its day. It was a successful company in its day. It just didn't adapt quick enough to the changes in our world. Where Netflix said, I'm going to adapt. And again, Netflix took time to get going, but now it's worth billions because we're here. Circuit City, no different, right? Circuit City, again, you had to walk into the store to buy things. Amazon came along, and people were like, oh, you can't buy TVs, you can't buy stuff, online like that. Amazon proved them wrong, right? And by the time Circuit City kind of got, holy cow, let's do it. It was too late for them to jump into this world because Amazon already had a grasp on it. No different than real estate right now, right? The reason I looked at EXP is like it or lump it, EXP is going to be the model of the future for real estate brokerages. It just is. So is it today? I think our numbers, like I showed you before, showed that, well, it is today. Like it is today. It's just that some of us are thinking back into 2014, 2015, 2016, because some of us have been in the business for a long time. But the truth is, the traditional real estate brokerages are not doing near to enough to keep up. And there's going to be a day that comes where they go, oh no, we've got to make change. And they're going to be a little late to the party, no different than Circuit City and Blockbuster. They were late to the party, and therefore EXP is going to do it. And listen, for me, I'm going to jump on that wagon now because I know that wagon is going in the direction that it needs to go. And either I adapt now, or there's a good chance that I eventually will die in this business. And I don't want to. I don't want to, right? All right, so let's kind of go over kind of the differences, and let's kind of go over, for me, kind of the process that took me through understanding the business model, right? So really quickly, a typical franchise has costly overhead, right? Franchises, desk fees. They're locally confined, right? So there's a smaller referral network. Like, again, when we look at, some of them do a really good job on referral, creating referral networks within. Some of them don't. But for the most part, we work every day within our office, and that's it, right? Within our city, that's it. And our version of a big company is if our individual office has multiple locations. Wow, look at us. We're a big company, right? And then there's inconsistent growth incentives, right? So minimal opportunities for ownership. There's only a small group. And this is what I know to be true is as real estate agents build teams and create businesses of their own, they're always looking for outside opportunity to make money. They're always looking for ownership. As a matter of fact, in our company, there was a huge disappointment because a lot of people couldn't get ownership, and there was a small group of owners. And here's the truth, it has to be a small group of owners because there's very little profit in it. I'll show you that on the next slide. And then there's limited technology and support, right? And there's limited technology and support because most companies can't afford to be putting a lot of money into it, right? Like, I mean, for us, we were confined and we were held to not growing. And then, as we move forward within the organization, there was even less technology than when we started. So instead of it being better technology or growing technology, it was less technology. And then we go to EXP world where we've got a cloud campus, which means you can work from anywhere, which means, listen, your office is in your home if that's where you're working, is in a coffee shop if that's where you're working. And your total office and the availability of staff and of training and all of that stuff is right there. And I didn't get that in the very beginning, but it's so important, and we kind of go around as a typical franchise and try and find ways around that and try and bring our training to people or whatever. But listen, here's the deal: if they don't come to the office, they're not getting the training, right? And therefore, that we're not doing our job to serve them. Where EXP is putting it into their workspace where they need to be. Live training, 50+ hours training online a week, and here's the benefit of the training. It's not finding Joe Schmo in your office who wants to do some training, or the same broker owner doing training. This is the cool part because it's within our cloud campus. It's top agents all across the country. It's top brokers all the way across the country. It's top, trainers all the way across the country that are doing these live trainings. And you're getting to go into an environment where people are coming from all around to go into these trainings, right? So like that is huge, right? And so there's localized training from a perspective of Canada and Ontario. And, then there's kind of world training, for things that can be like lead generation, all that sort of stuff. Real-time support. So this is a huge piece, and I'm going to show you a little bit about it as we kind of get into this a little bit. Real-time support is huge, and I'll tell you why. The world, again, it's a little bit like number one, right? The cloud campus environment is the staff is being brought into your workspace. They're being brought into your home. So literally you go in the EXP world and you need help with a transaction. You just go to a transaction specialist that's in the world that's already there. You literally walk into their office and they're there and you go, hey, so I'm having struggle with this, or finance, or your broker, like any of that stuff. Like literally it's as simple as saying, I need to go to the broker's office, and you can do that in your pajamas. And listen, could you call the office? But yeah, let's be honest. How many times have you called your broker and they didn't answer the phone? And then they called you back at an inconvenient time for you and they left a message and you never got to talk to your broker. Or maybe you're calling the transaction coordinator in your office, right? And they're not available because they're talking to another agent. And then they don't return your call. Or they return it, you're not available, right? That doesn't happen in the EXP very often, right? Because we have real-time support right there in place. And it's not just one person, it's multiple people that serve our agents all across the board. And that's huge because you get the help when you need the help, right? You get the help when you need the help. And then the next one down here is international collaboration, expansive referral networks. Because there's some brokers that do a really good, or some franchises that do a really good job with this referral. In EXP, it's almost a natural a part of what we do, a natural process that we follow. Why? Because we're all in one office. We're all in one world. Matter of fact, if you want to refer it to somebody, I don't know, down in Florida or wherever, or California, all you got to simply say is, hey, meet me in the world and go to this location and we'll collaborate. And you guys walk into an office together and say, listen, I got this client. This is who they are to me. This is what they want. This is what they're looking for. Can you service them? And they go, oh yeah, great. And listen, they don't have to do anything because why? Cloud campus is in their environment, in their home, right? It's, it's right there. So the international collaboration part for referrals is the opportunity is amazing versus, again, playing phone tag or trying to send an email and never talking to somebody. Like you might meet somebody and go, oh man, they're not somebody that I want to refer to, right? Like that's a possibility, right? So, or they're not going to serve my clients very well. And then the last one, which is incredibly important, which is powerful, equity opportunities. And that's the rev share and the stock equity program. If you're just joining our company for that, then I don't think that it's necessarily the place for you. But is this an amazing opportunity? It is incredibly powerful, incredibly powerful. And I'll tell you why here in a second. But rev share, which means that you're making money off of transactions that are being done and paid to the company, right? So transactions being paid to the company by people that ultimately, that you bring in or that you, interact with or that you invite to the company to learn a little bit about it, right? And again, that's money that's being paid to the company either way and anyway, right? So it's revenue shared, so it's paid before expenses. And I'll talk a little bit about that on the next slide because you have to understand the difference between EXP income and a typical franchise income, right? And then the stocks are the same thing. Like, listen, the stocks are just an added bonus, right? They're added bonus to our agents. And, a lot of people go, oh yeah, they're on NASDAQ. Well, they're on NASDAQ because that's actual stocks. That's actual value. You can buy and you can sell and you can trade and you can actually use them. That's real stock, right? So, and again, I'll talk a little bit about that. So let's move on to the next slide so I can kind of explain the cash flow model, in EXP, and then a little further, we'll get onto the commission model for you as an agent. But I want you to understand, this is what really attracted me to it, is because then I really had to understand, like, what's the cash flow model? Why does it make sense? Why is everybody jumping over? And again, we look at a typical franchise. An agent works for, a real estate, ABC real estate company, and whether it's a franchise or independent, but mostly a franchise, the agent takes the majority of the commission, right? So they're either on a capping model or they're 80-20, 70-30, 60-40, but they take the majority of the commission. They pay the brokerage the rest, right? So then the rest goes to the brokerage. So then the broker owner takes that money, and then they take the majority of that commissions earned, and they pay the expenses, right? They pay for the brick and mortar or the lease, the office space. They pay for staff. They pay for marketing materials. They pay for, you know, all the things that you know, that you would have to pay for in owning a brokerage, and then they take the leftover money, and that might be a percentage or it might be a flat fee. A brokerage could be losing their butt and still have to pay region, right? And still have to pay region. So then the regional owner either takes a flat fee or a percentage of what the brokerage does. And then the regional owner takes the majority of that and runs kind of local trainings or maybe local technology or whatever, local events, and they take that money. And then the region still has to take some of that money and pay international. And then the international takes that money in, and the international creates tools, right? They create tools and they create events and they create all that. So it's a very linear process. And when it starts with the agent taking the majority of commission, there's very little profit down the line, right? So when you're an agent and you want equity ownership in an office and there's very little profit because there's so many layers that had to be paid, then it just doesn't make any sense. If you're an independent, well, you might not have you might not have the regional owner or international franchise. Somebody then still becomes responsible for having to pay for all the tools and all the systems and all the models and all of that in order to compete with these franchises, right? So again, the profitability is still minor in comparison to what, you know, to what it could be. Here's why EXP makes sense. It took it from a linear no profit model to where it starts with the agent and ends with the agent. And it doesn't have all these extra layers, right? So EXP Realty starts with the agent. Agent takes majority of the commission, just like in any other company. Ultimately, they pay EXP 16,000 bucks. Like so they pay to EXP 16 grand. That goes directly into EXP International, right? It doesn't go to a broker owner. It doesn't go to a regional manager. It goes directly into EXP International, right? So EXP International now is getting the majority of that, or getting all of that commission, you know, up to $16,000 per agent. And then they are now taking that commission and they're basically splitting it 50-50. They're saying, we're going to put 50% of that back into the rev share program. Because now, listen, we don't have a broker owner. We don't have a regional owner. We can take that money and put it back into rev share. It's money, if we were a franchise, that we would never have had anyway, right? So we're going to take that in as rev share, and we're going to pay it out to agents in rev share. And then we're going to take the other 50% and we're going to invest in our tools. Now understand, they don't have any expensive leases. Like in any typical franchise in any province, you could have, you know, 19, even up to, like, let's say 19, 20 to 100 brokers that need to be paid, or staff that needs to be paid, where EXP has built a model where, you know, they have enough staff to be able to service, right? Because it's one of our core values, to be able to service our agents, but they're not overextended on staff expenses, right? So here's the reality is they have money then that they can create really great relationships with and really great technologies to support our agents, which is super important, right? So there's no brokerage owners, no regional money. So there's more money for tools, and there's more money to give back to agents, because we went from a linear no profit model to where we start with the agent and it ends with the agent, right? So it's where now an agent gets to have ownership, and they actually get to make some real money because it's based off of rev share, right? So I'm going to go through the rest of it so that you have an understanding. Again, I've explained a lot of it in this model because I think it's really important for you to understand the cash flow model to get why this company has the opportunity to give away so much money, but yet still has the opportunity to invest in so many amazing tools. And it's because they eliminate all the middlemen. All right, cloud campus environment. No desk fees, work from anywhere, cut overhead costs. No expensive leases means the company can invest in agent-supported technology, paperless transactions, and you get instant access to training and support. This cloud campus is incredible, and it took me a while to kind of get used to and understand it, because, you know, you look at, oh, we don't play video games and this and that. Like, I get it, but when you really get in there and you start working in there, all of a sudden you go, it makes total sense. Right? It's like walking into your office where you have everything, but instead of having to wait to talk to a broker or wait for a transaction person to come available, or to come in only at 12 o'clock for training because that's the only time the office puts it off, or whatever, it's at your fingertips all the time. and you literally walk into somebody's office and have a conversation. You have a question about finances, you go into the world, you walk to that office, and it's as simple as walking to the office, walking in and going, hey, I just have a question. And they're right there ready to answer the question. I got it once I got in and started to understand it. Live training, more than 50 hours of live training each week. You learn from industry experts and top producers about sales, lead gen, social media, CRM and technology, and then they're recorded. But here's the value, is it's not somebody in your office teaching it who maybe sold 20 homes last year. It's not, it's not your broker owner who doesn't sell anything teaching it. It's, it's ultimately people from across the country or around the world that are top producers that are really, really, really killing it, that are willing to teach because it's part of our core values, that they're willing to give back to our community. So the training you're getting is the best. And listen, you're sitting in the room with tons of other agents from around the globe. So guess what? Referrals are the opportunities are there. All right, let's jump into real-time support. Like I said, quick on-demand support services, live support from exp Realty's agent services, technology, and finance experts. Why? Because they're in the world, they're available, they're sitting at their desks like they would in any normal office, waiting for you to walk in and ask questions. Transaction specialists available wherever an agent or team is located. So we do have localized transaction specialists. So when you walk into the office, you're not going to speak to somebody from the US who is, who's doing transactions down there. You're going to speak to somebody who knows transactions in Ontario or Alberta or Newfoundland or Nova Scotia, right? Like that's the reality is, and they're always available for your help. Here's our time, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m., Pacific time, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pretty available times. And listen, the truth is, I know that a lot of them would answer questions beyond those times if you had questions. Probably not supposed to say that, but that is the reality. And here's the other part, international collaboration, right? So you can interact and learn from other top professionals in the company, build teams across provinces and states with one nationwide cap. Everyone's treated the same. We have now moved into other countries, multiple other countries at this point. I'm not sure exactly which countries, so but you can find that out. I'm sure I'll put a video up online about that. You can host and participate in daily live online gatherings, right? So that's huge. And then you benefit from a powerful referral network. Why? Because you're there in the same place with them. Share best practices among peers. The collaboration is a huge, huge piece of this, right? All right, now let's jump into the equity opportunity. So agents can become shareholders at exp Realty. We are listed on NASDAQ. And the benefit of that is they're real stocks, right? They're the real shares. Right, so you can get them, sell them, buy them, trade them, whatever. Here's the difference: is you earn them throughout doing what you do normally in real estate, which is your transactions, right? So the sustainable equity plan for this is that you earn shares on your first transaction, right? You earn shares when you fully cap. You earn shares when an agent you sponsor closes their first transaction. So you're earning shares just by doing what you do normally, right? And this is not investing in today, it's investing in tomorrow. It's creating an opportunity for you to own shares in a company that truly has seen tremendous growth over the last little bit. And you're just earning shares. They're giving those shares to you for doing what you do best, right? Then there's different award levels. So there's Icon Agent, which means you get up to $16,000 in stock. So you get up to 16 grand in stock upon the achievement of certain production and cultural goals within your anniversary year. So, again, there's stock awards that are given out based on production levels. Agent Equity Program, again, if you, want to take 5% of every transaction, and it's up to you, you probably won't even notice it, and then you can buy stock with that at a 10% discount. So it's pretty much pay for one, get two, right? So it's pay for one, get one free of our stock. And again, you are paying for that, but you're paying for it at basically, a discount, right? You're getting it for a lot less. Again, amazing opportunity for you from a stock perspective. The next thing is the revenue share. And a lot of agents jump into this EXP just to collect revenue share. And I don't think that's the right reason to jump into it. Like the right reason to jump into it is because it's a really great model for you to grow your business in. And then you attract talent to the company because you're an influencer. And when you attract talent to the company will reward you like you're an owner. Why? Because we've removed all the middlemen out of the company. So EXP agents can receive revenue share income from sales activity of productive agents they sponsor into the company, right? So this isn't, and again, when EXP first opened up, it was all about, oh, we need to go out and recruit. And I don't think necessarily the company was, but agents were. Nowadays, that's not what we're about. Our goal is for you to attract talent. So you attract people ask questions, and you introduce them to the company, and you share kind of why you came over. No different than what I'm doing right now is sharing with you kind of why I made the decision to make a move. Right. And again, it's based on your adjusted gross commission income. The companies agree to give back 50%, and then they take 50% for your working in tools. So what does that look like? There's 7 tiers. I can explain this more to you if you want to just reach out to me and connect with me. But ultimately, you have to have 4 people in your first tier in order to unlock your second tier. 5 to 9 in your first tier to unlock your third tier. So again, these are just the tier levels. In order to unlock all these tiers, you have to have, invited some people. So listen, and to unlock the most profitable tier, which is tier 7, and again, there's very few people, in all honesty, that probably will unlock tier 7. You have to have 40 plus people in your first line. There are a few people that do that. But listen, think of it from a team perspective. If you're going to get $2,800 back on every capping team member, or whatever that is, then you can pay for your own cap simply out of the revenue share that you get back from agents, right? So it's $2,800 back in rev share for an agent that caps. If they're in your tier 2, it's $3,040. If they're in tier 3, it's $1,920. And so, again, this can be substantial money over time, especially for teams. So remember in the beginning, I said, well, why are teams attracted to this? What's going on with teams? This is why. Because their teams can come in and they can actually make money off of their teams. The more productive their team becomes, the more money they make as an owner, right? In a normal brokerage, like the more team members you add, the more expensive it costs, right? The more money that you're putting into the brokerage, and you're not getting any benefit back by bringing productive agents onto your team. Matter of fact, you might even be penalized for it in some offices. Here, you're getting money back, right? You're getting money back. And I'm going to share some of the team models that make this really worth your time to consider and to look at. All right, so let's jump into the EXP world, because this is one of the most misunderstood things in EXP is the EXP world. And it's because everyone goes, oh, that's so silly, it's so crazy, blah, blah, blah. But here's the truth. It's so advanced from the perspective of thinking how agents actually work and their transactions and how they work in any environment. And and now I get it. And it took me a bit to get it and understand it. So again, EXP is the real estate office of the future, and it's available today, right? It's a cloud campus environment where agents can meet and learn together no matter where they might be located. So, again, just think of one place to go. And again, it's silly, but one place to go where you have training, transactions, marketing help, broker help. And then if you need to speak to international for a reason, or you want to attend an event or whatever, you can go there. And it's all in one place, like you're in the office, but it's at your fingertips wherever you work, right? So I'll give you an example. Real-time support. You have a challenge or help with something and you don't know where to go, it's all there. So in another franchise, you get a tool from this other franchise and you can't figure something out. You call your regional office and they go, I don't know. It's a tool that International gives. You call International and International has no real place for you to go, or they send it to you and you're in a long line and they call you back and whatever. Here, it's real-time support. You walk in and you go, hey, I need to learn more about this, or I need help with this. They're right there in the world. Why? Because it's your one big office. So there's specialized departments for everything, right? Let's say you want to do, you have a mastermind group set up of people all across Canada or people wherever. There's team collaboration where you just go into a room and you can collaborate with the people. And literally you walk into a collaboration area and people from all over the place can come and you're literally sitting in the room with them, having conversation with them, right? Versus do, having to set it up on Zoom or having to do whatever. And that's why, because it's more complicated in other companies, people just don't do it, right? Or it's led by coaching companies or whatever. Here, you can literally do it right in the world. Information sharing, your daily trainings are there, and then every large scale meeting. I mean, this is an example of a provincial meeting where everybody comes in and sits down, and again, even your name or where you're from is right above your head, so you can go to other people and create opportunity and create groups. You can work anywhere, anytime, right? You jump into a meeting, learn on the go with EXP. It doesn't matter where you are. The benefit of this, I now understand, and it's super, super cool. All right, so let's jump into EXP solutions. So here's the tools that you get. So remember when I talked about, the fact that, there's so many levels for people to get paid in a typical franchise, therefore the profits are lineal, and this goes back around. EXP has the money and the time to put into how do we create great tools for productive agents, right? What's the solutions, right? So kind of here is all the different kind of solutions. There's EXP Enterprise, Skyslope, Workplace, CRM and lead generation, and then branding and marketing. So let's start with EXP Enterprise, right? So Enterprise gives agents an autonomy and greater visibility into metrics and business intelligence. That's crucial. Like if you wanted your numbers, again, you'd have to go to the brokerage and you'd have to, ask the brokerage. The brokerage will either get it to you or not get it to you. It may take days, rather than just jumping into here and looking at your dashboard, looking at your finance and your transactions, going and getting support when you need it, right? Getting agents' names for referrals, right? Again, you can see everything, from your profile and your agent details all the way down to real-time performance reports, right in one place with EXP Enterprise. Then we've got Skyslope. Skyslope allows agents to manage their transactions from beginning to close completely paperless. Now, there's a lot of brokerages out now that has something like this. It is incorporated straight into EXP. It's part of what we do. You can review transactions from any device, sign documents digitally. It runs your business with top grade security features. Now, sure, a lot of companies offer this type of thing, but here's the truth. They also have an office to pay for, versus with us, everything is right there at your fingertips in your own office. So therefore, they're doing this to make it easier for their agents, but their agents still have to kind of pay for all the additional opportunities that the broker is trying to create for you. But with us, it's all right here, and support is real easy. Next thing is Workplace by Facebook. So a lot of you probably understand, well, you know Facebook, and you probably heard of Workplace. Well, Workplace is EXP's version of Facebook. So we have our own version of Facebook. And what does that mean is that everybody is in this Workplace. So it means if you need to talk to somebody from anywhere, you can go talk to them. And then there's different groups that you're a part of. So you might be a part of Ontario, or you might be a part of Alberta or Canada. You could even be a part of like another country if you wanted. Like I'm a part of Florida and United States, and a part of Canada and Ontario. Because why? Because I work at all of these different places. And again, it's incredible value. People jump in. So it's where we give news, we discuss topics and projects, we share announcements, we communicate instantly with your team and others across the company. Because again, in this, you can create your own team, and then you can broadcast live videos and view past recorded videos, like you could on Facebook, right? It's our own version of Facebook, which is huge. Then we jump into CRM and lead generation, right? So we use KV Core, research KV Core. KV Core is an incredible program. And again, it's a powerful lead generation platform, and it's provided at no additional costs. It integrates listings with your own website, right? So is there websites out there that do that? Absolutely. You tend to have to pay for them on your own. With EXP, there's an amazing one provided, because why? We have the money to invest in tools. And then there's optional in-house lead generation program, which means if you want to pay for leads, you can pay for leads, right? No different than a lot of agents out there, a lot of teams out there that do it. You can do it right in our system, and you can pay for leads. Marketing and branding. So EXP Realty provides templates to market your business, again, with flexibility and creative to co-brand your design in a way you feel it works best. Our goal is to brand you and to get your name out there. It's not necessarily to get EXP. Matter of fact, so many teams and so many brokerages have joined because they could keep their brand and have it powered by EXP. Right? They could keep their brand. They don't need to give up their brand that they've worked hard for years when they join a company. They're keeping their brand, they're keeping their colors, and literally they're just being powered by EXP as long as you're following your local rules. Marketing and branding is important, right? Having all this stuff, the business cards, the brochures, the signage, everything at your fingertips is easy, and then you can just pop your stuff in and create your own brand right there available to you. All right. Let's talk about joining EXP real quick and how to become a shareholder. I'm not going to jump into, necessarily it's all done electronically. If you want more information on how to join, I can walk you through that process, but I just want to be clear on this is how it is. There's no desk fees, royalty fees, or franchise fees, right? Your commission is at 80-20. Understand everybody is on the same thing. Why? Because then there's no, like I know in your office right now, and I know in kind of Ontario and Ottawa, some of the deals that are made with agents, because that's the business I was in. And there's agents right now that you're sitting next to at your event that are on 100% commission for 2 years. Well, you're paying into the company. There's some that are on 90-10 splits. Well, you're on a 70-30 split. There's some getting free office space when you're paying for your office space. Our business is not equally fair across the board. EXP makes it fair across the board. Right? Everybody's on this 80-20 until they pay $16,000 cap. After that, they earn 100% commission for the remainder of that anniversary year. Right? There is a $285 transaction fee once, transaction fee once capped transaction fees total $5,700. So after you cap and you're on 100%, there is a $285 transaction fee. Once you pay $5,700, then that transaction fee goes down to $75. So again, if you're a high producing team or high producing agent, then those fees are going to be adjusted and you're going to be only having to pay $75. So what's the standard cost, the setup fees? So it's $199 startup fee, right? That's the reality, is that's what gets you started. And then it's $139 a month cloud brokerage fee, right? So again, that gives you access to everything that we talked about, gives you all of those free tools, gives you access to all the training, gives you access to our EXP world, everything that we do, and it's $139 a month. There's a $29 broker review fee for any transactions, then a $17 risk management fee, right? And again, the risk management fee, I think, is the capped at $200, right? So it may vary by area, but for the most part, it's $200, and GST applies to all services, right? And these are per transaction. So if you're doing a lot of transactions, they're per transaction. All right, I'm going to jump in real quick. I'm just going to talk about this for a few minutes because this is what makes the difference for me and why I looked at it, is because, teams, this is the place to be without a doubt. So what is a team? A team is defined as a lead agent, as a team leader, and at least one licensed agent working as a team member, right? So again, could be up to one agent, but a team lead is at least one, is defined as a lead agent, which is a team leader, and then one licensed agent. So again, team agreements are to be based on mutually agreed upon terms between agent team members. Again, we want to make sure that we're going through provincial law. I know it says state here, but provincial law, and making sure that we're following the right things, but we will not intervene in any disputes between team members and team leaders. Like as a company, we're not going to intervene. What types of teams are there, right? So there's the self-organized team, okay? The self-organized team, could be any team. So for example, we bring a brokerage on and the broker owner goes, okay, we want to be our own team. Let's say it's ABC Brokerage, and they want to remain as ABC Brokerage, but they want to be powered by EXP. There's no reduced cap for any team members, right? So everyone's on the 16,000. There's minimal referral percentage required to team leader. So there's no, you don't have to pay anything to the broker owner. Could you? Absolutely. So if you're a broker owner and you want to, pay an additional fee to you to run stuff, you can, but there's no minimum required. And then team agreement is required in writing with EXP approval. So ultimately we have to figure out, like, what is it that yourself, there's no team agreement required, but there is, in other teams, so what that agreement looks like. You don't need anything with a self-organized team. There is a team roster, which is required and provided to EXP, which they would anyway, because they'd be agents in EXP. So you can have a self-organized team, which would be, we find that happening with brokerages that are coming on. Next one, standard team, right? Standard team any team member, they're reduced to half cap for the team members, right? So they go from 16,000 to 8,000 for those team members. Same split. There's a minimum referral percentage required to team leaders, right? So you have to pay a minimum referral percentage required to team leaders. I'll tell you right now that the minimum is about 25%. Reach out to me if you run something different right now and you want to talk to me about that. We can talk about it. So team agreement is required in writing with EXP approval, and we want a team agreement in place so that we have an understanding that all agents are on the same boat. And then team roster is required, which it would be. And there is a minimum of 6 million or 30 closed transactions in the previous 12 months for your team. And again, if you're somewhere close to that, or your goal is to hit that this year, reach out to me and we can make that happen. And then there's the mega icon team, and this is for big teams. When we look at some of these big teams rolling over, this is why they're moving over right here, is because they have a reduced quarter cap for team members, right? So there's their cap goes from 16 grand. It's not 8 grand like on a standard team. It's actually down to 4 grand, but there has to be a required of 10 people. So I don't know where that is. Oh yeah, 10 capping team members have to be on a team in order to do that. So there's a minimum referral percentage required to team leader, like in the standard team. Team agreement, same in the standard team. Team roster required, same in the standard team. Here's the difference. Minimum of 40 million, which is 175 closed transactions, and 10 capping team members in the previous 12 months. Again, if you're close to that or your goals are there, just give me a call and let me know. So again, I've gone through most of it, but the teams are not looking for reduced cap. From a team leader, can form a team with any terms between the members that they choose. So there's just no cap, there's no minimum referrals, and team documents are not needed in this case, right? So traditional, it's half cap. The team leader must have 6 million in production, 30 closed transactions. They must pay the team leader a minimum of 25%. So again, if your team members are on 75-25 or 50-50 or anything like that, it's perfect. We want that agreement in writing. There is an addendum that you would sign as a team member and as a team leader, and then we must provide a roster. Same thing, mega icon. Again, we went through all of that. Again, it's the same 25% of GCI earned. The team leader must guarantee 56,000 annual team company dollar. So I mean, you look at you look at the what you're paying to EXP. They want to guarantee at 56,000. But if you have a team of 10, you're doing 175 closed transactions. Even if you have a bad year, you're still going to pay in 56,000 for sure as a mega icon team. Same thing, written commission. Team members must be within a 100-mile radius of team leader. Again, if satellite team leader must be named in the extended area. So if you are doing this and you have multiple locations in multiple provinces, reach out, or if you plan on doing that, reach out and we'll figure that part out as well. So, again, there's a whole bunch of just the little things of 10 times 4,000, 40,000 plus the 16,000. That's where we get the 56,000 if you look through these rules. And that's what you're doing. Again, as a mega team leader, the production requirements to earn Icon Agent Award are to achieve the 56,000 team company dollar minimum. So you'd automatically become an Icon agent, at this and earn your commission split or earn your stock back. So we look at the benefits of the team. This is what I'm talking about. Why? Because if you look at rev share based on your own team, you're going to collect rev share anyway on your team, and so you're getting a lot of this money, some of this money back, especially if you're a mega icon team, right? They're paying 4,000 in, you're getting 20, whatever it is, so many thousands back in rev share. Probably not 2,800 because they're going to be obviously on a cap, but they're going to be getting money back from your team, all of which you probably don't in a brokerage, or if you do, then your lack of the tools. So I hope that explains EXP to you. If you do have any questions, reach out to me, contact me for any more information. There's my phone number, 613-668-6742. Email address is jarroddaviscoach@gmail.com. If you want to visit my website, it's jarroddavis.exp.realty.careers. Listen, any more information that I can send you, don't hesitate just to shoot me a quick email. I am not going to attack you. I am not going to come after you from a recruiting perspective. My job is to share the information of why I made this decision and why I saw value in this company, which again, I think is at this point, I mean, I would assume that you see why that is so obvious of a decision, because there's so much opportunity in this company from a single agent all the way up to, kind of the mega icon teams all the way up to broker owners. If you're a broker owner, give me a ring. I would love to talk to you about how you can keep your brokerage name and still be powered by EXP. I'm here to help. I'm here to be a resource for you, and I'm here to help you understand the benefit for you, and if this EXP is a company of choice for you, and if it would be a fit for you. All right, guys, hope you have a powerful day and a powerful week. Feel free to reach out and connect with me. Chat with you later. Bye-bye.